up, everybody? This is Dominic D'Angelo of WrestleZone.com and MLW.com, and I am here with episode number 3 of the MLW Fusion Fight Report. So, welcome to the show. I just cover each weekend out the ongoings of Major League Wrestling. So, if you're not familiar with the show, I'd recommend maybe going back and at least listening to the first episode to get like a little rundown and overview if you're not familiar with Major League Wrestling. To just kind of get yourself a basis and stuff. I give a little bit of 101 there. And then I give a little like kind of asides about particular stars and stuff like that in episode 2 as well. But every week I give a recap of Fusion as well as just some of the ongoing news. Now, let me say, this past weekend happened to be War Chamber tapings as well as Fusion tapings, which they do all at once. So, and that took place in Philadelphia. And to be honest, I did not read the spoilers because I don't want to ruin the surprise for myself. I typically am there, so I'm usually in on the spoilers. Like I know it as it goes on, but I wasn't there this time around. So I kind of wanted to take a step back and not spoil anything for myself. So I don't even know who the surprises are and who came out. I think we get a little bit of indication of who that may be. And if you look at the wrestling news, you probably already know who it might be. And it's pretty safe to assume who this person is. But I want to leave the element of surprise, not only to me because I think it's going to be fun, but to you guys too. If you do want to know the spoilers, we do, I believe, have them up on WrestleZone.com. And yeah, you can find them there and get the details if that's what you want. But I'm going to be spoiler free on this one. So for myself, mostly in particular, I'm a very selfish person. I'm just kidding. But so let's get to what else? What do I do? If I wanted to start off with anything in particular, not offhand, but I'm sure things might come up outside, and I'll take asides if need be. But let's get to the show itself this week. They did advertise that next week will be when they air the War Chamber match. So that's going to be big time, real big time for Major League Wrestling and seeing what things go. And from this episode here, we're seeing a lot of things getting developed and teases being made and a lot of stuff going on. So this week's episode starts off with Team Hammerheads, which is EJ Naduka, Alex Hammerstone, and Richard Holiday walking through the area of 2300 Arena. And Holiday's on his AirPods while EJ and Hammerstone are walking towards, and who walks in but Emilio Sparks. And he was on the beat for it, and he asks, "Hey, what's going on here? You guys still need some partners for War Chamber and stuff like that." Hammerstone's eating a protein bar while EJ's with him, and Hammer's like, "I'm busy, man," like that kind of thing. They're not giving him any details. So Emilio goes over to Richard Holiday, trying to get the details from him, but he's talking to Max MJF on his AirPods. And you can hear from the conversation that it's tying into a lot of what AEW is currently doing with Sting, who Richard thinks is from the police. And he thanks Max for offering to be in the War Chamber, but it's like, we'll be all right kind of thing. So he brushes Emilio off. But then who comes in but Cesar Duran and his associates, the Masked Associate and the other Azteca Underground Associate. And he's saying, "Hey, I hear you need partners and stuff like that and everything." And Hammer's like, "Hey, basically, we don't trust you." And EJ's with them, and so is Holiday. And what happens is Duran, Bill's like, "Well, I have one person that you can use." And he presents the key around his neck. And that's in tying to Lucha Underground, a reference back to that. So we get a little cliffhanger there to start the show off. And then we go right to the action, which is a trios match, or a supposed trios match between Los Parks and 5150. Hilarious. I was saying 505, 5150. And I've been watching the show and I didn't pick up that it's 5150. It's so easier to say, and I just feel like an idiot. But no, so going off there, we have Danny Limelight Rivera and Slice Boogie going up against who was LA Park Jr. and El Hijo de la Park. No sign of LA Park, the patriarch. Brawl starts off just hectic and crazy. And here, Joe Dombrowski and Rich Piccini happen to say that, hey, LA Park was attacked backstage, and that's probably why he's not here. But who comes out but Homicide, who has been with Major League Wrestling for a very long time. Back in 04, I believe is when he started. Might even have been a little bit earlier, but he was in the mix way back when. And so tying it all together here, he comes out and has his ties obviously with LAX and everything like that. And he's part of the match. But who comes out? LA Park not too long after that. And the brawl just continues. They do a tope suicida dive, and it just gets crazy. It's a slice boogie, power bombs El Hijo through a table or a board, and LA Park smacks him with the chair, and just chaos. Fun, like really intense, wild chaos that really builds to this feud that's been going on and adds to it. So this match gets thrown out. So no contest. And, we cut to commercial. Back from it, they're brawling backstage. They're fighting backstage. And even we see Jacob Fatu for a brief moment. And here, 5150 rip off the mask of El Hijo de la Park. And they his father and brother cover him up. And LA Park is pissed. He's like, this is some real bullshit going on here. And obviously with the removing of a lucha mask, it's very disrespectful. So playing into that, and we're going to see this take a trajectory. Because if you looked at the card or saw the War Chamber card that tapings were set up, we're going to get LA Park versus Homicide. We're going to get the Tag Team Championships match. Now, I will say, I do know the spoilers for that one because I was spoiled on that. But that's okay. Going to be fun to watch anyways. I won't spoil it for you guys though if you haven't watched it or read the spoilers. But so then what's we cut to happens to be we get backstage, Jacob Fatu, but then we get to match 2, which is a big 12-man elimination match. Is Beastman versus Kevin Koo, Gino Medina, KC Navarro, Akira Kwan, and King Mo tagging up all together against Zenshi, Warhorse, Savio Vega, Blue Meanie, Richard Holiday, and EJ Naduka. Now I was in the audio crowd for this one when they taped this one, and it was a fun and this was a big showcase of the judge EJ Naduka, as it should have been, and but everything got really well played out. I feel because started off that Kevin Koo eliminates Warhorse, and then in comes the judge, and he takes out King Mo right away, like spinebuster pins 1, 2, 3, takes out Kevin Koo 1, 2, 3. So right in succession, they were basically gone. And then we get Richard Holiday and Navarro going at it, and Navarro's he's amazing. Like to see him, he's such a get for Major League Wrestling that he's gonna prove a lot of people and show a lot of people what he's capable of. But and then Navarro goes up against Zenshi, which is always fun. Zenshi's awesome. Like I love his unorthodox style and his just ability to do some really neat stuff in the ring and work with a lot of different range of talents and sizes and everything like that. He's been a stalwart for Major League Wrestling for quite some time, and it's deservedly so. So, but he gets eliminated when Beastman gets tagged in, who gives him a rolling cannonball in the corner, and he's out 1, 2, 3. Then Savio Vega comes in, and so this has been a showcase. Up until this point, this is going to be a showcase of Beastman, what he was capable of. Now, he's not with Major League Wrestling anymore, but he is a talent that's on the market, and he's got a presence about him. So he takes on Savio. Savio gets a little bit of offense on him, but then the referee pulls Savio's kendo stick away from him, distracts him a little bit. Savio gets clotheslined, and then he gets splashed for the 1, 2, 3, and Savio is eliminated now. That gets a lot of boos, by the way, from the Philadelphia crowd. They did not like Savio getting eliminated. Here comes, speaking of Philly, Blue Meanie. He comes in, and he does a neat spot where he's like, all right, we're going to sumo wrestle this. So he gets in a sumo stance, and he tries to collide with Beastman. They both go and bounce off of one another, and then they try it again. Doesn't happen. So Blue Meanie gets Beastman cornered. He goes in the opposite corner to go to splash him, but Kim Chi grabs his leg. And so Beastman charges at Meanie, collides with him, splashes him, and gets the 1-2-3. So Blue Meanie is eliminated. Obviously, that wasn't a big thing for Philly. All right, here it comes. EJ Nduka comes into the ring, and he takes on Beastman and Kim Chi. He gives Beastman a big spine buster, pins him, so eliminates Beastman, and then just for good measure, spine busters Kim Chi and pins him too. Richard Holiday gets tagged in, and he meets his old adversary, Gino Medina. Now, Gino Medina was a brief member of the Dynasty, and until Richard Holiday fired him. But there's some contention there because Gino Medina just says he quit. He quit on it. And Richard Holiday's like, no, I fired you. And so they play into that a little bit. These two go at it. They brawl on the outside. But then Akira Kwan, to tie this into full circle, Akira Kwan kicks Richard Holiday yet again. So if you remember, when Richard Holiday lost the Caribbean Championship, Akira Kwan roundhouse kicked him and led to, oh my gosh, King Mortez giving him the straight to hell flatliner and then getting the win and beating him. So all that contra messed up Holiday again here. So Akira Kwan kicks Richard Holiday, and Holiday is unable to answer the MLW 20 count. But Medina is, and he slides back in. So he's still in the match, and Holiday's eliminated. But that doesn't happen for long. It's 3-on-1, though, against EJ Nduka. Nduka. He's the lone man. He's a lone man here. But he powers through everybody, and then boom. I think he eliminates first Gino, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. He eliminates Gino. Then he catches Navarro up for a cool spot. So Navarro leaps off the top. He catches him. Boom. Gives him a spine buster. He's out. 1, 2, 3. So both those guys are out. It's down to Akira Kwan and EJ Nduka. 2 men going to be in the War Chamber next week. And sure enough, EJ Nduka grabs Kwan by the throat and does an impressive gorilla press where he holds him up almost Goldberg style and then catches him, throws him down for the spine buster. 1, 2, 3. He's out. EJ Nduka, the lone man and lone winner of this 12-man elimination tag. Very good way to showcase EJ and what he's capable of even further. I didn't get to say this too either. During that opening segment with Team Hammerheads and Cesar Duran, the body language and presence and inflection that EJ gives is very good. You can tell, he's got some chops, man, where he's able to handle himself in front of the camera, has a presence. It's unbelievable. WWE let him become a free agent. It's crazy. It's crazy. And so he's a real good get. He's going to be something, man. I'm pumped. So yeah, the judge is awesome. So very good showcase of him. They reveal that next week, Cesar Duran will have a big surprise during the War Chamber. Now, we do see Cesar Duran with Willow Nightingale, and they seem to have a friendly relationship going on here. Nightingale, Cesar is about to make a proposition to her, but Nightingale's like, listen, I do have friends here, but it's all about making that featherweight title, and I'm here to make that title. So she makes her intentions clear. Duran's impressed by that and then compliments her hair, and then he gets interrupted by his masked associate, and he's got to cut the conversation short. So Fatu is in his office. Fatu's pissed. He wants that title shot still in that rematch. Well, Duran's up to some no good here, and he's indicated that earlier because he wanted to cause some dissension with Mads Kruger. I believe it was last week or the week before, and Mads Kruger is like, I hold my alliance to Contra, and but I am a mercenary. So trying to cause some rift in the things, and he's not only doing that with Contra. We'll see that later on. But so they go. So Fatu's there, and he wants his rematch. But Cesar's like, hey man, it's out of my hands. Joseph Samuel has not initiated a rematch clause yet, so I can't do anything about it. And so Fatu's like, he's still kind of wise to it. He's just like, listen, I was like that. There's not going to cause a rift between me and Samuel at all. Samuel. And so there's a lot of intriguing stuff going on here before War Chamber hits off. It's what's going to happen. I don't know because I didn't watch the spoilers. So I think this is the main event now coming up. Yes, it is. It's main event time. Oh, I didn't mention too that they did a teaser for Enzo showing up. And if you want, go back and listen to the second episode. I give my reasoning why Enzo's a good fit in Major League Wrestling, even if it's just for a one-off. But he's a great fit, and he incorporates the fusion aspect of what MLW's been about since its inception, basically. So go give a listen back to that one. But also, there's a tease for Gnarls Garvin coming up, Big Beef, who I've got to see wrestle a couple times with Limitless. And he's going to be something too. So he's going to fit right into the mix of that. But then we also had a little feed cut of Samael running down to Philadelphia. And man, he does a great job at trash in Philly. I lived in Philly for 5 years, South Philly for 2 years. But he does a very good job saying like that they only support losers, and this is no different by them supporting the hammerheads. And then he calls them window lickers, which is a fantastic dig. Man, that's such a good line. I want to start calling people window lickers now. Maybe I'll go on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter, and if you want to be called a window licker, I got you covered. But very good stuff. Samael's always great. Oh man, he does such great work with these cut feed videos. I just remember the one time he had one where he was just a bloody mess and he was just screaming, and I was like, this is awesome. Like, so much good content that he produces and puts out in there. He's a very smart mind for the business, and it's good to see him kind of like flexing all the what's so cool and badass about Contra Unit. So he does a great job at being the ambassador for that, definitely. But okay, main event time is the Opera Cup semifinals, the first match of the Opera Cup semifinals, where we have Bobby Fish going up against Davey Richards. These two have a history with ROH and everything like that. Red Dragon, you think all about that kind of stuff. And the American Wolves. Here, they're facing one another. And Davey Richards offers a hand to Bobby Fish. They do a fist bump instead, and they get to the work. And it's mat wrestling and good technical stuff going on. And there's a neat spot where Bobby Fish is ringing the arm of Davey, and Davey rolls and flips out of it. If you're familiar with doing the test of strength and the revenge games and stuff like that, he does something to that effect and then kicks Bobby Fish in the arm, and it sends Bobby Fish outside, who has got to reset. Really neat moment there. I think it's kind of my favorite moment of the match. Actually, it was so cool. They get back to it, but a very good technical, a hard fought match. Bobby Fish does a little bit of heel work here, where he trips Davey up on the apron, and really focuses on kicking him and hurting his left leg. So good stuff there. And he gets his patented heel hook in. Davey escapes. Davey turns into an ankle lock here soon enough. Bobby Fish gets out of that. Davey hits a brain buster on him, and which I thought was the end of the match at that cover. And I was there for the match. I forgot what happened. But he covers. Bobby kicks out, and then but immediately Davey doesn't relent, and he gets the ankle lock on there, cinches it in. Grape finds the leg, punches away at it, and Bobby taps. And so that's the end of the match. And Davey Richards advances to the finals of the Opera Cup. Who will he face, though, is the question, because Calvin Tankman is set to fight TJP. Did that happen? Did that go down? I don't know, because I didn't watch the spoilers. And it could, because Alex Kane is the alternate, and there's been a storyline with that. So what is going to happen there? Overall, this was a really good show. Adds good build and stuff to War Chamber. Certainly creates intrigue for the Opera Cup. And something MLW is really great at is just building excitement for things. And keeping the continuity with everything. Because you got to think, too, these matches, Fusion and stuff, is taped. Sometimes in order, but other times it's okay, they'll do something here, and you're like, where's this going with that? But they make it all make sense in the end of things. They tie it all together. So if I have to give an MVP for this week, I will give it to EJ Naduka. it's just very good. Like I said, awesome in the opening segment there. Great showcase of him in the elimination tag. Again, a great way that they promote things MLW does. So very cool to see. I'm trying to think. Oh, also, I didn't mention this. Yoshihiro Tajiri, the middleweight champion, world middleweight champion, will be defending his title overseas in Japan. Should be pretty darn cool. Now, Hammerstone was known to do that too. He went on a tour for Pro Wrestling Noah, which is what I believe. No, they're doing it with All Japan this time around. But it's been cool to kind of get it helped build Hammerstone. And Hammerstone says that how much he loved wrestling in Japan, and he wants to do that again too. So it's being able to the MLW to take that title like international is great stuff, and adds to the stakes, adds to the prestige of holding the belts, and makes them more important. So very cool to see. Looking forward to seeing what goes with that. I'm trying to think if there was anything else very super newsworthy. Now I know, again, since I did not check in on spoilers and stuff like that, I don't really go by. There might have been some news developments and things like that, some reports of stuff going on. I'm not sure about those because I'm just remaining in the dark. So, but yes, overall good show. My MVP for this week, EJ Naduka. Excited for War Chamber next week. Should be a fun one. Excited for the Thanksgiving episode too as well, because they're going to have the National Openweight Championship ladder match there. So that'll be very cool to see. But yeah, some really good stuff on tap for Major League Wrestling. If you have any questions for me, you can hit me up on @Dominic D'Angelo on my Twitter there, PC. And you can follow WrestleZone on Twitter @WrestleZone.com or WrestleZone.com. Go to WrestleZone.com for all your wrestling news needs. And hey, check out MLW.com too for not only my recaps. Go to MLWshop.com if you're interested in any of their merch and stuff like that. They got some cool stuff. Zip up hoodies. A really cool Davey Richards Cobra Kai style t-shirt. Hammer's got some cool merch. Who else? Los Parks has some really cool merch too, so check that out. A lot of cool stuff going on. But yeah, that'll do it for me this week. Feel free to send me an email if you have any Fusion Fight Report questions. I'm happy to answer them, or MLW questions in general. Feel free. The mailbag's always open. You can always DM me too on my Twitter, so do that too if you'd like. But hey guys, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next week on the MLW Fusion Fight.